Welcome to another episode of Beer and Watches. On today's episode, we are going to be comparing quartz watches to automatic watches. Which one is better? Let's find out. Time's a ticking, so let's get stuck in. Hi guys, I'm your host Matt Johnson and welcome to my YouTube channel Beer and Watches, where I bring you the very best in watch reviews and beer news every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Now, if this is your first time here, please do go ahead and click on the subscribe button over there to the right of the screen. It takes just 2 seconds, but it means the world to me as I continue my climb to 1,000 subscribers. Now today we are trying to find out which is better, quartz watches or automatic watches. That is a question that has haunted watch lovers the world over for many years. But is really one of these better? Is a quartz watch better than an automatic watch or vice versa? Well, that's what we're going to dig into today. Now, the first mechanical watch was created in 1510, but the first automatic watch was not created until the late 1700s, and that was a pocket watch. In fact, the first automatic wristwatch was not created, believe it or not, until 1923, and it was created or invented by a gentleman by the name of John Harwood, who was a British watch repair guy. Now, before 1923, wristwatches certainly existed, but they weren't actually worn by men. You see, they were considered a fashion item or a jewelry item for women specifically. It wasn't until John Harwood created the automatic watch and they were used in watches in the field, in the war, that automatic watches and wristwatches actually became popular. So that's a little bit of history and timeline on the mechanical or automatic watch. Now, what about the quartz watch? The first quartz watch was released by Seiko in 1969, which is only 5 years before I was born. And I know if you're good at math, you've probably figured out that I'm pretty old. That explains all the gray in the beard, right? Now, the first quartz watch that Seiko created in 1969 was the Quartz Astron, and it was actually released on Christmas Day, December 25th, 1969. Now, before the first quartz watch was released in 1969, the Swiss were dominating the market with their mechanical and automatic masterpieces. But when Seiko released the quartz watch,
oh my goodness,
it nearly completely destroyed the mechanical and automatic watch industry. You see, nobody wanted to buy mechanical and automatic watches anymore because of this newfangled thing called the quartz watch. I mean, after all, let's take a look at the specs side by side. First of all, a mechanical or automatic watch can lose or gain 15 seconds a day or a week, whereas a quartz watch can lose or gain 15 seconds a month. So obviously it's more accurate at timekeeping. Mechanical watches are generally more expensive, whereas quartz watches are cheaper because they are cheaper to produce. These quartz watches don't need servicing. In fact, you only change the battery when it runs out every 2 to 5 years, whereas a mechanical watch needs servicing, needs oiling, and needs looking after. Generally, mechanical watches are heavier, a bit thicker, and a bit more fragile, whereas quartz watches are thinner, hardier, and generally lighter in weight. And finally, as a matter of fact, quartz watches are generally cheaper to buy. You can get these anywhere from a couple of dollars in the market or on Amazon all the way up to about $5,000 if you're getting like a quartz watch made by a high-end watch company like Rolex or something. Whereas automatic watches and mechanical watches, completely different story. These watches, well, you can get them for about $100, but they can go upwards of millions of dollars for an automatic watch. So why would anybody choose a mechanical watch with all those flaws and problems over what seems to be a much superior timepiece in the quartz watch? Well, before we answer that question, let's first answer the question how automatic watches work and how quartz watches work. What's making them tick inside? Alright guys, so here are our two watches. Now first of all, I took the liberty of opening up the wrist bracelet on the automatic watch, and I removed the NATO bracelet on the Quartz watch so that we can actually open up the back of the watches and take a look inside. Now the tools that I'm going to be using to do that are here. We have a watch case back opener for a screw down case back, we have a watch case back opener for a pop-off case back, and then this here is what I used. It's a pin pusher that pushes the pin out of the bracelet, which allows me to undo the bracelet. If you're interested in tools like this, you can get them very affordably. You can get a whole kit with about 20 different tools in there on Amazon or AliExpress for only about $20. I did a review of those on my channel, and you can go ahead and check it out on this pop-up card right here. But I'll also put a link in the description below to that video about the watch repair kit, so maybe watch this and then go ahead and take a look at that afterwards. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Quartz watch. Now this one is Brigada. I actually did a review of this watch here on my channel, and I also gave one of these away. And if you want to check out the review of the Brigada Quartz watch, you can go to the video link in the description below this video. It's a great quartz watch, very minimal, hour and minute hand, no second hand, but it works beautifully and keeps great time. So what we're going to do here is pop the back off this. It's got a stainless steel push down case back, and we're just going to pop the back off using the watch pry tool, and there we have the quartz movement inside. Now the way that a quartz watch works is it is operated by a battery, which you can see just there. Inside this movement is a little quartz crystal. Now what scientists found out many years ago is that quartz crystal vibrates at 32,000 beats per second, which means that it's good for regulating time. So what they did was they took the quartz crystal and essentially made it into like a little tuning fork, and the electricity from the battery goes through the tuning fork, and then the power comes out the other end and powers the motor, which then powers the watch itself. And that essentially is how a quartz watch works, and it will keep going indefinitely until the battery needs replacing, and then you just take the battery out, replace it, and the watch will keep going. As you can see, the movement is not very complicated. It's very small, very basic. They're very cheap to make, and therefore this watch, I believe, on Amazon was about $20, including the beautiful NATO strap. Now compare that to what's going on in an automatic watch. This, as you can see, is a lot thicker. It is a lot heavier. It is also a lot more luxurious looking, right? And if I take the back off here, we can give you a little look at the movement inside. We'll revolve that there and take it off. Now you can see the movement in this watch, and I want you to compare that to what's going on in the Quartz watch. Very different indeed. Generally, well, for the most part, quartz watches are very inexpensive to make, so therefore they are very inexpensive to buy. They are mass produced by machines, whereas automatic watches like this, these are produced by craftsmen, by watchmakers. As you can see, there are hundreds of parts in there. What you can see up here, the gold wheel that you can see spinning, is the balance wheel. An automatic watch or mechanical watch is regulated by time by winding a spring, and then that spring unwinding slowly is what moves the balance wheel, and the balance wheel is what drives the cogs and the motor inside this watch. A mechanical watch basically needs winding every day, whereas an automatic watch has this here. This little half moon disc is an off-balance rotor, and what happens is with the kinetic movement of the wrist while wearing the watch, that rotor moves and that winds the movement or winds up the spring. So essentially, if you take a mechanical watch without a rotor, it will have what's called a power reserve, and a power reserve is kind of like a gas tank in a car. Think of it as filling the gas tank with gas, and then when all the gas has run out, you have to refill it again. Well, a power reserve is the same. A power reserve is how much power the spring has in it when fully wound. Generally, you have about a 40-hour power reserve on most watches. This one is actually an 80-hour power reserve. But on a 40-hour power reserve watch, the watch is going to run for 40 hours before it needs winding again with the crown. Whereas with an automatic watch, because of this rotor here that swings while you're wearing it and winds up the spring, an automatic watch will keep running indefinitely as long as you wear wear it once in every 40 hours. So if you wear it and then take it off, put it on your nightstand, go to sleep, and put it on the next day, the movement from your wrist will continue to wind the spring inside. And to put it into perspective, this watch here on the right was about $1,000 Canadian, whereas this one on the left is a machine-made watch, and this one was about $20. They both tell the time, and many may say that the Quartz watch tells it more accurately, which indeed it does. However, this is a luxury item that I can pass down for generations, and also it's just beautiful to look through the glass case back and see that movement inside there beating away. I kind of think of it like a beating heart, because there's no actual electricity in there. It's just from the winding of that spring that this watch beats and keeps time. There you go, guys. That's the difference between mechanical watches and automatic watches. We've talked about what the differences are between quartz watches and automatic watches. Which one you choose really is up to you and your preference, and also what you plan on using the watch for. But let's put it this way. You can get a Ford or you can get a Ferrari. They will both get you to your destination, but one is just a nicer ride. A quartz watch is more of a tool watch, something that you're just going to use to tell the time, whereas an automatic watch is something that you're going to fall in love with every time you look at it on your wrist, and you have to kind of forgive it its old-fashioned time-telling faults. A quartz watch, you can, you're going to buy it, you're going to maybe have it for 5-10 years, then you're going to throw it away and get a new one, because after all, anything electronic is going to break down, whereas an automatic watch, as long as you look after it and you love it and you keep it serviced, it should keep going forever, which means it's going to last longer than you. You're going to pass it down to your kids, and they're going to pass it down to their kids, and this kind of watch, an automatic watch or a mechanical watch, is going to become a family heirloom. So whether you want to tell time or whether you want to fall in love with it is entirely up to you. All right, guys, I sincerely hope you enjoyed this episode of Beer and Watches. It was kind of a cool one, right? Now, don't forget, if this is your first time here, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And also don't forget to click on the bell button up there to the right of the search bar, so you get notified every time I release a brand new video, which is 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Finally, before you go, please do leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and also leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you thought of the video. And also let me know, do you prefer quartz watches or automatic watches? I would really love to know your opinion. If you haven't seen it yet, click on this video right here and click on the Beer and Watches logo right there to subscribe. Take care and bye for now.